the cage.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event of the evening. This fight is brought to you by Precis, film, photo and advertising.
The 28-year-old Helsinki-born native of Finland, Tuomas "The Train" Grönvall, is an extremely powerful submission wrestling specialist with unstoppable takedowns and dangerous guillotine and dart chokes. He has never been finished and has a 63% stoppage rate.
Mä oon vapauttelijana tosi vahva, aggressiivinen. Mä käyn päälle kuin veturi.
The 37-year-old Kostadin fighter of light Enev, fighting out of Rus, Bulgaria, is a powerhouse and seasoned Muay Thai fighter that has become a submission specialist with 8 submission victories on his resume. Enev's biggest weapons, in addition to chokes, are his Bulgarian-style wrestling, striking, and mental toughness. Enev has a 75% stoppage rate.
Определям се като страйкър, защото първият ми спорт, с който съм започнал, е кикбокс. Знам, че е много добър боец, с много добра борба и много хубава издръжливост.
Se on semmonen väkivahva bulgarialainen sambomestari. Ihan lyö kovaa, skrämplää kovaa painitilanteessa. Kova ukko. Mä oon parempi painissa ja mun mattopeli on paljon vaarallisempi kuin Kostadin.
Аз мисля, че съм по-добър боец в стойка. Тренирах много и се подготвих за този двубой и планирам да го спечеля. Обичам всичко в този спорт. Обичам адреналина, който ми носи, и напрежението, което изпитвам по време на битки.
Vapaaottelussa eniten mä rakastan voittamista, jotenkin mä tuun voittaa.
Will this be another victorious step on unstoppable Grönvall's way to the top, or will powerful and experienced Enev be able to steal Grönvall's momentum? Here we go! Tuomas Grönvall versus Kostadin Enev.
To the blue corner, Kostadin Enev!
Here we have it, the first half of our main event matchup. Kostadin Enev makes the walk to the blue corner here in the House of Culture in the jewel of the crown of the Republic of Finland, Helsinki. Incredible. Cannot wait for this.
Kostadin Enev, very experienced, true veteran of the European fight game. Still trying to prove that he has what it takes to compete against the best of North Europe. Combat Sambo experience, excellent kickboxer, and that was his first sport. He started with kickboxing, and with all the years in combat sports, you can see, even when he shadow boxes, you can see the looseness of his shoulders and the power in his punches.
Absolutely, and that combat sambo background, you know, the 12-8 record is a lot of experience, but who knows how much combat sambo experience he's got as well.
And kickboxing.
And kickboxing, very, very experienced fighter. And you know, Grönvall has basically as many fights as Kostadin has wins.
To the red corner, Tuomas Grönvall!
Yes, that's going. Tuomas the trained Grönvall, pushing onward, keeping that momentum rolling as he moves to the cage. Tonight, he'll look to keep that momentum going with another victory over the dangerous Kostadin Enev. Grönvall, incredibly physically strong grappler. Fantastic takedowns and an excellent guillotine choke.
It will not be a surprise what Tuomas wants to do in this fight. He wants to grab Enev, put him on his back, and then maul him and look for the neck.
And he does that quite often.
Yeah, exactly. That is Tuomas Grönvall in every single fight, and he will do it. He will try to do it for the full 15 minutes.
Absolutely. You see him here. Behind him is his coach and longtime mentor, Mikael Silander, former M1 title challenger.
And Cage Warriors title challenger.
Cage Warriors title challenger.
One of the most experienced professional fighters in Finland, in the Nordics, and one of the pioneers of the flyweight division in the whole of Europe.
Absolutely.
Tuomas Veturi Grönvall!
Good show of respect here. Grönvall in excellent condition here tonight, it looks like.
And getting a massive ovation from the Finnish crowd at the House of Culture.
Now we have the tail of the tape. You see 8 years. The senior of Tuomas Grönvall is Kostadin Enev, and an experience advantage to be sure. Very slight advantage in both the reach and height as well.
In the blue corner, fighter with a professional record of 12 wins and 8 losses, weighing 61.6 kilos from Bulgaria, Kostadin, fighter of light, Enev! In the red corner, fighter with a professional record of 8 wins, 4 losses and 1 draw, weighing 61.6 kilos, representing 0-3 fight team, fighting out of Helsinki, Finland, Tuomas the Train Grönvall!
Very tense, these two fighters meet in the center. Listen to my commands. Nico Alponen in charge of the action here tonight. Round 1 set to begin in our bantamweight main event of the evening. Fighters are ready. We are ready. Grönvall keeping that guard high early. Pressuring forward, inch by inch, as is his style. First takedown attempt of the evening, and he's bearing down on Enev.
Very nearly takes the back there.
And this is where you can really see the power of Grönvall. And just the pressure and the twist he puts on the torso once he gets his hands locked.
Yeah, and I mean, physically, when you look at him, the size of his back, you know, shoulder to shoulder, that wingspan might not be too long, but shoulder to shoulder, incredibly broad. There's a lot of power there. Enev using relatively peculiar grip to try and ensure he's not taken down there. But Grönvall takes the back and dumps him. Oh, big slam!
Excellent takedown by Grönvall.
This crowd going wild as Grönvall tosses the Bulgarian Kostadin Enev to the mat.
And that shows you the power. Once he gets the hips under, you are going on a ride.
Yeah, that's one train I am not too keen to hop aboard.
Now I'm interested to see what Tuomas brings on the ground game. Last time when he was fighting against Lucas Pereira, who was extremely physically strong fighter, Tuomas was able to still control him, but he had a hard time landing any major strikes on the ground. And Tuomas has worked on his ground and pound, and again, he has a great offensive guillotine, but worked on his ground striking for this fight a lot. So I'm very eager to see if he's going to improve to a dominant position as he's trying, or whether he'll focus more. Oh, he has his hands together.
Excellent guillotine choke, so perhaps. Nope. Just absolutely bearing down on Enev there.
Good defense from Enev, and good. He worked his way back up very well.
Yeah, that in itself is quite an accomplishment.
Yes, it shows you the experience he has.
Right. And now looking for a takedown of his own. Grönvall, however, flips the switch.
Yes, that might have been a bit of a mistake from Enev's part to engage in the wrestling with Grönvall, especially since he should have the striking advantage over Tuomas.
This crowd absolutely roaring. Grönvall applying a lot of pressure here. Not too much in the way of offensive output, however.
As I would like to see Grönvall, yes, he has a good cage control. You see Enev is not going anywhere, at least of yet, in these positions. But I would like to see Tuomas pepper the knees to the body, to the thighs, like be a little bit more active, get the opponent to react, and then clasp your hands together and finish with the takedown.
Right. A bit more attrition here. This war of attrition.
And gets a second takedown. 1 minute left.
Yeah, this is largely one-way traffic here. As is the case often. Grönvall, excellent pressure.
Now when Enev turns, Tuomas has a chance to get the back. Or if he falls, now Tuomas is going for the cross wrist. If he can push Enev down here, he has a chance to ground and pound. He gets both hooks in.
Perhaps looking for a rear naked choke. Doesn't have it under the chin, but put a little pressure there and a little steam on that left hand as he smacks it up against the face of Kostadin Enev. Submission attempt late in the round. Not much time to work there. But maybe there's a psychological victory there in letting Enev know, hey, if I want it, I can get it.
And at least it's extremely uncomfortable when someone with Grönvall's strength is squeezing your face and twisting your neck. So.
Absolutely.
Apollo Live Club toimii Cage-otteluiltojen virallisena jatkopaikkana. Cage-pääsylipulla ilmainen sisäänpääsy koko
when
ilman.
you have someone that strong as well on your back
riding you, and decides, hey, I feel like I just want to crank your neck a little bit, just to let you know.
That round was very Tuomas Grönvall-like.
Yes.
Like excellent top control. He had a few, like here, had his hands together, had a chance to go for maybe a Darce or a Japanese necktie.
Yeah.
But good, Enev really showed his experience, like staying calm in all these positions that he was in real danger, and then played it off cool. And now second round on their feet again.
Yeah, he's an absolute veteran, isn't he? So it's no surprises there that he maintained composure. You know, I found it surprising. He got elevated and dumped on his head, and he looked chill. He was on the ground like, okay, where do we go from here? Second stanza begins. Front kick thrown for Enev, who on paper is the superior kickboxer. Good kicks here. One to the midsection rips for Enev.
Mikael Selander is yelling from Tuomas's corner, just pressure, pressure, pressure. Make him throw and then shoot.
I don't really think you have to tell Tuomas to apply pressure. You know, that's I think that's his default state for the most part.
I think the threat of a takedown when you fight Grönvall is so big. He controls the distance very well. It's hard to land without stepping in very heavy, which gives him the opportunity to drop down for a double. Excellent shot by Tuomas, but good defense from Enev. You can really see that it's not the first time he has defended a shot to the legs.
You don't say. This being Enev's 21st fight, no surprises that he's seen his fair share of double leg attempts. And he's able to make sure that Grönvall doesn't secure that one.
Now Tuomas switches to the single. Yeah, he's gonna get the takedown here. Straight into half guard. Enev is using this weird face control. I think he's not trying to get damaged, or he has a submission that I have no idea of.
Yeah, I've not seen that before. Though I know there are some, potential choke setups you can get despite being on the ground in a position like this. So, of course, you, Alexi the Giant Toivonen, would know a bit better about that than me.
Now Tuomas is he's putting the hand behind the neck and into the armpit, which puts Enev in a bit of a neck crank position. It gives Tuomas, if he can get that again, a chance to land a few ground and pound and forces the back exposure a little bit.
Yeah, I'm no physiotherapist, but it doesn't seem like the head is supposed to bend far forward like that, so probably not the best feeling either.
Now Tuomas has his knee out, so he's in a quarter mount position. And gets the full mount.
Just past the halfway point in the second round of our main event of the evening. I want to remind you all that Cage 55 will be Saturday, the 3rd of September. Join us here at the House of Culture for another exciting night of fights like this one. Excellent opportunity for elbows, yep. Oh,
that was a hard elbow.
Oh, good slicing one there. Dangerous spot to be in when anyone's on top of you, let alone Tuomas Grönvall. Sorry, Alex.
I think Tuomas should push the upper body of Enev down. Every time he goes for that kind of posture slop and goes for a crazy ground and pound like this, Enev has a chance to come up a little bit, so it's hard to land clean. When you push down like this, like Tuomas is doing now, and then you drop the elbow.
Yep, post and elbow.
And now Enev turns and gives the back.
This is not where you want to be, with Tuomas Grönvall on your back.
With 1 minute left to work.
Grönvall relentless with the onslaught. Picks you up, puts you on your back, and begins to just beat down on you. And he does this consistently. This is just
This is his
standard
game. This is
performance.
his game, yes.
Against, I mean, listen, Enev, the reason I bring this to your attention is Enev is no slouch as a wrestler either. He's got fantastic
Definitely
Bulgarian wrestling.
Yes, and a combat sambo specialist. Like
Yes.
I think he won a Paris Grand Prix or something in combat sambo. And
Grönvall makes it look easy.
yes, very,
Oh, Jesus.
very dominant.
Hard shot there. In Grönvall's last fight against Lucas Pereira, it was much more of this. Picked Pereira up, put him on his back, and beat the brakes off of him, all due respect.
Two very dominant rounds for Grönvall. Now, if Enev wants to change this fight and get a win, I think he has to do it early. He has to do it early in round 3.
Enev has a good cast in his eyes, though, still looks very much in this fight.
I think when you're a veteran of the fight game and with that amount of combat sport experience, he knows when to use his energy and when to save his energy, when to explode, when not to explode, which arguably is harder when you have someone like Tuomas Grönvall on top of you and throwing elbows and punches at your face.
Yeah, that's not a place I would ever want to find myself.
Second round, third and final round.
Tread lightly and politely. Grönvall. Just dominant wrestling here, though, on display. Fantastic performance from Grönvall thus far. But every fight starts on the feet, and Enev, game as they come, looks to shuck off that takedown attempt and land a right hand there. Goes for the sprawl, but he's up against the cage.
Yeah, now Tuomas has his hands connected again behind Enev's hip. So then it's very hard to push him off, and he can pull you in and close the distance and use the pressure against the cage to inch himself closer.
Now he's got those hands locked.
Tuomas
That leg dumps
is going for the same takedown as before. As the single leg, steps outside and straight into full mount.
That has got to be just a brutal feeling.
Now I would like to see, once Tuomas gets Enev down, if he can get Enev down without, not that Enev is sitting against the cage, but get him on his side or on his stomach, I would like to see Tuomas use the ground and pound a bit more aggressively still, because he had a lot of success at the end of round 2 with it.
He's cranking that head back once again. Just making this uncomfortable every step of the way. Whether he's throwing elbows or threatening with the choke or on top of you in full mount, he just grinds relentlessly forward. Call for action from the referee there. Enev attempts to spin into the guard of Grönvall, and that does not work.
Now, when they're in this position, Tuomas can get a lot of leverage on his shots with his right hand, because he can wind it all the way back. In ground striking overall, the big issue is you can't push off from the legs, so you can't use your legs and hips the same way that you use when standing. So you have to use your upper body more. You have to rotate.
Spinal torsion.
Yes,
Yeah,
you have to rotate to generate a lot more power.
Right.
Otherwise, they're just like basically arm punches, which don't feel nice, but it's not something you're going to finish the fight with.
Well, depends on who's arm punching, but
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, not able to get that kind of, that torso twist in order to leverage big shots when your side is on the mat. You can a bit, but this is a much better position, of course, for
Tuomas Grönvall. In a very unfortunate position to be in if you're Kostadin Enev. Just a grueling amount of control here.
Yes, and honestly, to me, it's starting to look like when it comes to the grappling exchange here and the back control, Enev is just out of his depth. Like, he doesn't know how to escape Grönvall's back control.
Yeah, that doesn't lock in the legs there. Probably doesn't help that. Luckily, he moved away from that position, but there's really not much in the way of a competent attempt at recovery to a standing position. Here you go, he turns, but then Kostadin Enev is unable to escape from Grönvall. Which is saying something insane when you consider how much experience Enev has with mixed martial arts, wrestling, combat sambo. It's just a wealth of experience, and Grönvall
just
more or
dominating.
less exactly
Dominant control.
Does precisely what he wants.
And he has been been aggressive with the choke attempts. He has really tried to get the finish, but Enev is very game. Like, he's angling out very well, like from these. Again, Tuomas squeezes, tries to get under the neck, tries to face crank, but Enev is surviving very, very well.
Enev is as tough as they come. That's on full display here. Look at those knees, though, of Grönvall. That's gonna not feel so good in the shower. But the victory's gonna feel pretty good.
That's what I was saying. If the 15 seconds go by, he gets his hand raised at the end. Doesn't really matter if your knees are a bit burned.
Fine, you've convinced me. Oh, and Enev late flips the script and finishes strong.
Yeah, Tuomas was
too
going
little,
for,
too late, though, I think.
Yeah, Tuomas was going for a last-second armbar, missed the opportunity, and Enev tried to capitalize. Good job, a very, very dominant performance by Tuomas Grönvall.
Yet another dominant performance in a string of dominant performances from Tuomas Grönvall. It looks like the train keeps a rolling and likely improves to 9-4-1 here tonight. Fantastic display of heart from Kostadin Enev, never out of that fight. Despite the grueling pace that Grönvall puts on, he was as game as they come the whole way through and finished strong.
I really feel Tuomas has come to his own in the last year. Like, he knows where he's strong at, how to win fights. The only thing I'm missing a little bit is the added aggression, the position, add the ground and pound to the positional control. Like, he has good opportunities to land very, very powerful punches and elbows, like he showed at the end of round 2, while still maintaining the control. So that's the only thing I'm missing. But of course, when you are in main event, the level of opposition gets harder and harder. The fights get the level of your opponents gets higher. So it's harder to land the heavy shots. It's harder to land the guillotines. But excellent fight from Grönvall, very dominant control, and the train keeps on rolling.
Yeah, there are no easy matchups at this level, specifically when you're fighting in main events. And to be able to uncork, to be able to dominate with the wrestling that substantially is itself a talking point worth mentioning. But, you know, he did also get off some of those good elbows, some of those good shots. And when you're dealing with a high level of competition, as you mentioned, like, that bears mentioning regardless. We go now to the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 3 full rounds, we have a decision. Winner by unanimous decision, Tuomas the Train!
No surprises there, largely one-way traffic on behalf of Tuomas the Train Grönvall. The train keeps rolling, the momentum keeps going. Now for the interview with Philip.
Tuomas, onneksi olkoon, hieno voitto, täyteen aikaan mentiin. Tuntuko missään?
Joo, kyllä se tuntui, kun oli 1,5 viikkoa ollut kipeä, niin sai sitä duunia tehdä.
Miten muuten valmistautuminen meni tähän otteluun?
Siinähän se vähän varvasongelmia tommosia, mutta ei mitään se isompaa.
Niin kattelin, että sulla oli teippi jalassa, mutta onko siinä minkälainen vamma?
Siinä on joku nivelvamma, vaurio, mikäli käydään korjauttaa se matsin jälkeen.
No nyt pääsee parantelemaan, mutta kerro vähän minkälaisia fiiliksiä tuossa matkan varrella ottelun aikana oli.
Ihan hyvä, että alkoi väsyttää aika perkeleesti, mutta loppuun asti painettiin.
Todella hieno voitto, onneksi olkoon.
Kiitos. Kiitos kaikille, että tulitte katsoa.
Tuomas Grönvall!
Alexi, will you do me the honors?
Tuomas saying he had a little bit of a was not super happy with his performance. Great that he got the win, but he's been sick for a week and a half before this fight. He didn't want to pull out, and also you can see the tape on his foot. So he's apparently waiting for a minor foot surgery. So was not, especially considering not that dominant
Hyvät näistä erot seuraava case-ilta. Numeroltaan 55 otellaan täällä Helsingin kulttuuritalolla.
So very impressive in that regard.
You are about to experience the cage.